Back to my channel. So today we are going to see option selling. So you guys know I only speak about option selling. So yeah, let's get started. So I will speak about the basics. Put. So put selling means it acts as support. That means price action will go up. Okay, and the reverse is for call. Okay, so call sellers means they act as resistance. Price action will go down. Okay, now let's do a small price action comparison. So I have the Nifty chart on one side, and then you could see the pattern here. So the US news is not impacting that much for the August month. You could see this is the open for Nifty and Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty fall, Nifty fall, but then today it just went sideways. But Nifty is looking good because of Reliance. Okay. Now when you check for open value, open is 600. Okay. So let's take 600 as the open. So the white zone is OTM, the shaded zone is ITM for call and put respectively. Okay, so now we will see. Here we have maximum negative decay, here we have maximum positive decay, because market is in very shape a good support. Okay, and then as usual OTM is performing very well because market was sideways today. As you could see, it was trend line based. Okay, let me just do a small calculation for anyone. So let's take this strike. Okay, if somebody is doing 2500 call writing, then it's just 2 points, right? So we'll calculate the PNL. PNL is positive 2 points times 75. So this is 150 plus tax brokerage. So it's a small profit. I'll write it as small profit. Small profit for OTM, but always for sellers we have to either look weekly positions or monthly positions, then only they can add more positions and gain a very good profit. But here we usually discover daily decay. Okay, so that we can get a very clear understanding. Okay, now we'll move on. We'll also check for next expiry, that is 14th for Nifty, and then you could see it's not similar to what we have observed the previous day, because both of them having delta variable as a different. Okay, now we'll check Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty is 55,500. Now this is 55,500 is open, so it's positive for the OTM, positive for the ITM as well, only negative for the ITM of call, because here market though being sideways, it was first half it was trending towards the upside. And so if I zoom in, you could clearly see the Bank Nifty's market. Okay, first half it was trending, second half it was sideways for both Nifty as well as Bank Nifty. Now here we will do a small price action comparison with the step count. Okay, so first I am going to check for Bank Nifty. Let's take Bank Nifty here, 55,500. I'm going to select for both the sides, and then you could clearly see it's almost a very small margin where buyers were winning, and then at some point buyers have gained, and then you could see at the end from 3 o'clock the decay for the put side was very high, and then call side is also slowly drifting, and it was the seller's day. Now we'll take 800 and the same pattern is observed because this is considered as, see, first half it was trending here and all the move was in first half. Second half it was drifting towards the seller zone, that is in negative decay. Okay, so if down means, if delta negative decay means sellers are going to win. So if here it's going up means then it's a long straddle. If down means it is a short straddle, to understand it simply. Okay, now we'll take 200 strike. Sorry, I just have to start range I have to set first. We'll take 300 itself. And then here you could see, as it is considered as ITM, and then the decay was pretty smart from the start itself, and it's a maximum decay here for 300 strike. I'll check for Nifty. So Nifty 600 was the open, 24,600. Now I'm going to select 600 for both the sides, and then you could see Nifty, the sellers were pretty strong from the start, and then at the end the buyers were unable to break the resistance. So you could see this is the resisted line, but sellers were slowly enjoying the decay. Okay, now we'll check step count 700, and then you could see here also sellers are winning from the start. Now let's reduce from to 500. We'll take 25,500, which is a very good support here, and then you could see almost buyers were winning, but with a very small margin. Okay, so now we are going to check the important thing. So many people confuse here, let's understand here. So for buyers, I am very sorry, just with the OI information you cannot do buying. For buyers, let me explain. First is trend line, and then SMA or EMAs, trend line breaking, and then you have to know the strong resistance and support zone. Okay, and you also should know the overall that weeks or that months support and resistance, so that you know where the SL is hidden. Okay, and then to be critical you should know at least 3 types of indicators which will give you the buy signal or sell signal. Okay, so it can be super trend, it can be RSI, or it can be ADX for you to give extra confirmation. Okay, also if you are a scalper, then that is very good. So for buyers, lot of things you have to check. You have to be sticking to the price action chart and should learn. Okay, so price action, yes, of course, price action is very important. Okay, because you invest very small amount, like up to 20k for one lot, unlike the sellers whose investment is, so this is for buyers, the investment is 2 lakhs. Imagine you pay only 20k for one lot, getting the same profit, and then imagine a seller investing 2 lakhs for the same profit, but with more confidence. So you should understand that from seller's perspective, it is only one thing: support, resistance, price action, and of course OI. Pretty easy. Change in OI and the total OI. That's all. They would add positions either in put writing where the support is there, or they will add the position in call writing where the resistance is, and the decay will happen. So this decay is the profitable trade for sellers. Okay, for buyers they have to be very careful and lots of buyer, they lose money because they have to check for many indicators. It at least requires some 6 months to 1 year for buyers to learn. But for sellers, it takes almost 3 to 6 years. Why? Because you only get monthly charts to understand. You'll understand monthly charts like you only get 12 times, that is 12 months in 1 year. So imagine market is paying 3 times sideways, 3 times from buying side, and 3 times downtrend. So each trend you have to observe, and each time, each variation with respect to IV you have to observe. So lot of work in the sellers, and they also gain very less profit. But FII are mostly sellers. They invest a huge amount of money and they know where the buyers keep their stop loss, so it is very easy to hunt. That's why the support and resistance plays a very key role, and my videos I only explain from the seller's perspective, right? So now coming back to the basic line. So somebody asked to explain the change in OI and OI. See, OI and change in OI is always value based. Okay, so it is the quantity that tells us how much open contracts. So OI is open interest or open contracts which is already present in the market. This is the total OI. So for Nifty, it shows the weekly, it shows the monthly as well. Okay, at this change in OI, this is daily basis, which I cannot see tomorrow because it is generated every day. Okay, so based on this we can understand. See, today it has profit booking. That means they are taking their positions from the call position, and they have added some positions here. So which is the highest amount? So you could see 14k. That means I definitely know 2500 is the strike from which market will never go up, because this becomes a very strong resistance. And then on the other hand, you see where they have added more positions. See, most of the ODM, they would do profit booking to adjust their positions, and then you could see here 57 is added, so 600. So I know 600 is basically a very good support where market would never breach it. Okay, so now I got the range. So based on this range, I can understand that I can take this becomes the OTM. I can take the OTM positions and sit quietly because I know this premium is going to melt anyway. Okay, if premium melts, then the seller is going to get the profit. Okay, that's why for selling, how to say, it's kind of easy but it's kind of hard as well, because when SL hits for sellers, it is like very huge. As you could see, the 0 to hero, for example, on expiry days, all the sellers, they exit their position like crazy, and then you see wild moments. But most of the time, or 60% of the time, market just remains sideways. Okay, so by this a sellers can have an hand. Okay, but using this change in OI or OI, buyers can take this as one of the indicators, but based on this they cannot trade, because it becomes very risky. Because at certain point when market is between this zone, these strikes, they became very range bound. Okay, if they are just range bound, then it is a loss for buyers. If it is loss for buyers, then it's vice versa, it's a profit for sellers. So based on these two factors, buyers, please don't go. Okay, now let's see. My video is a bit lengthy, but I just wanted to explain you from core, so how buyers and sellers are very different from each other. When you check ODM, it's 676 and 724, so their resistance is little bit strong, but they are building up the support. As you could see, put writing has been done. Okay, so this is the data of 3:30 p.m. Okay, so at the end, what is the positions we can see here for today as well as this month. When you check for 14th, you get the gross idea of market can be in this range, almost 400 points range. So with this 400 points range, the buyers, they cannot make a precise move, right, unless until they are using the indicators or Fibo retracement or any other SMAs or EMAs. But for sellers, it is very profit. They just have to look at the resistance or support, and then they can take the OTM strikes and they can sell and simply sit because of the decay melting. Okay, so this is the difference between buyers and sellers uh, from the perspective of looking at the OI. Okay, but it's not bad to look at the OI, because once you understand the seller psychology, you will know how buyers have to react. Okay, and it's vice versa. Okay, so this is OTM 62 and 83. So still resistance is more, but it is indicating a range bound market, and almost 60 to 70% of the market is always range bound or consolidation phase. That's why it melts the premium. Okay, so that's it guys. Thank you. Keep supporting my channel.